Season 2, Episode 3 of the Shot Clock Podcast. I'm joined by a former Irish teammate, St. Vincents legend, the only Irish player to play against Kobe Bryant, which we'll get into at some point. From the day he was born until the day he retired, this man has been St. Vincent's true and true. Emmett Donnelly, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks very much, Diego. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, look, delighted to finally get you here, you know. See, can you outdo your brother on the hour-long podcast episode?
Yeah, well, hopefully not, because I do have to get to bed. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll try and keep it concise.
Lovely. So look, I've started everyone kind of, over the lockdown when all this started with, how's COVID treating you and how, and then as we start to progress out of it, how are you finding life now? But like, we seem to be opening up. We seem to be back on the right track. So how are you getting on now that life is returning to normal?
Yeah, great. There was a fair bit about the lockdown that I was able to use to my advantage, I think. And it kind of suits me because I'm not overly, I suppose, social, as it were. So I'm kind of happy in my own company, and I have the family here. So my wife Lorraine and the two girls. So it was quite a nice pace of life, and we, got to spend a lot of time at home with the kids. And they're at, they're 7 and 5 now. So nice age to kind of be around them and experience that. So I know there was all the madness going on around and different people at different circumstances, but yeah, just tried to use it as best I could. I got to build the girls a little house out the back. So just tried to stay, control the controllables, as I say, and do what I could. So yeah, but now all is good. I actually had COVID. I'm vaccinated, feeling good. So I kind of have put it behind me. I know it's not the case for everybody, but for the most part, yeah, looking forward to the future.
The life, excellent. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm glad you recovered. You know
what I
mean?
Yeah, thanks.
Some people weren't as lucky, but like, you know what I mean? I suppose your fitness, your youth all plays into, getting through this thing.
Yeah, well, hopefully that was something stood to me anyway. So yeah, I happy to come through it, and all good now. So yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Look, so we'll get into this, we'll kick it off, and we'll go through your career and get your thoughts on things. So look, we'll take it way back to the start of basketball life for you. Who, what, or why inspired you to pick up a ball for the very first time?
Yeah, straightforward one for me. So I'm the third of 4 boys in the Donnelly household, and didn't have much of a choice actually. But but look, as a younger brother, you look up to the older brothers, and I was inspired by them. And I know Dave mentioned, but our dad would have played for St. Vincent's back in the day. I do remember vaguely, kind of as a really young boy, he would have been bringing us over from Castleknock to Vincents to see some games. And so definitely have a strong memory of that. And yeah, just seeing Carol and David pick it up, like we were all into soccer and Gaelic. But by the time I was really joining clubs and that, they were pretty much all focused on the basketball. So it was really, that was the number one sport for me from day one. Like.
Yeah, look, two, like what an amazing family. All 4 boys like went on to have really great careers, hoping to get Carol on, and I suppose if I get Carol on, I'm gonna have to get James on. It'd be just rude not to.
So, yeah, you'd have to round it off, get the whole set.
Yeah, just that's it. Get the 4 boys on, and that's it. And look, with Vincents, you were very lucky, I suppose, to be surrounded by some amazing players, both above and below you. So based on that, who's been your favorite teammate?
Yeah, I'm no surprise because it's the same as Dave, but absolutely Jermaine Turner, like no question.
Yeah, JT.
For very specific, I suppose, yeah, of course, like we had that year 2005 2006 where we won the league together, and that was my only kind of major win. We won a few conferences and that, but with Super League, that was my only major win. But it's more than just having that experience together. It's kind of like how he showed up at practice every day, and that's kind of part of like when you're showing yourself as you are now, but when you're training in the depths of winter and you're coming home from work and heading out to training and it's miserable, you want to get there and you want to enjoy it and compete, and not somebody like Jermaine turned up with a smile on his face. He was loud, good-natured, really good fun, worked really, really hard, worked his ass off all the time, competed, and was just a joy to play with. And I've had a good few teammates like that, but on top of that, Jermaine had the athleticism, the drive, just the skill sets, like, so just absolute pleasure to play with. And yeah, loved every minute playing with him, and then unfortunately had to play against him for a good few years. But yeah, I mean, a few honorable mentions, like, so the brothers obviously were, it was good fun playing with them and going home then and being able to talk things over. Pete Madsen, I know, we, like, when I was younger, basically myself and Pete battled in practice together, but like 1-2 combination, you know, I'd be bringing the ball down the court, Pete be spotting up. Joey McGurk as well, you know, another guy who just, you know, always 100% effort, really good guy to train with. Owen Darling, same bracket, love playing with Owen.
I'm lucky enough to play with Owen now, and you know, it's funny when you're not in that dressing room and you're looking across the court to people, you form opinions. You know, and I had an opinion on Owen, and it is like in the last 3 weeks it's completely changed.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
absolute ass off. He's
so
humble. He's our captain this season.
Yeah,
but just such a great guy. Like, you can speak to him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's a lot. Like, when you go to a player and say, "Look, just, you know, adjust this or try this," you're going to get met with one or two things. You're going to get told where to stick your advice, or it's going to be, actually, yeah, you're right. And Owen is the latter. He just, you know, he'll listen, he'll take it on board, whether he puts it into practice or not. But he's just a humble guy, but a really good leader, like just a solid leader. Doesn't need to say anything. Leads with action. You know what I mean? So great guy, great guy.
Yeah, 100%, and got to play with him for a good few years. So others, you know, Pat Glover, you know, joy to play with as well. Like Pat and my brother Dave, I kind of, they're so similar in how they play, but they're lethal from 18 foot in, you know. And Trimmer, look, I have to mention Trimmer just because you know, we played together for so long, and you know, a lot of my experience with him were in his latter years, which seemed to go on forever as a player. But you know, he always gave everything he had to give, you know, and that was just another good guy to have in the team, and to, you know, give what he had.
Horrible to play against.
Yeah, like, and like incredible, you know, again, mid-range jump shot, kind of low post, defensively very strong, you know. So
strong as an ox. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I love battling with him. I really did. It was, those games, like, we've had some absolute crackers over the years, back when I was I'm with Notre Dame. But Trimmer's a good guy, I have to say. So you played in, how long did you play Super League for?
Yeah, good question. Look, I was kind of saying on the text, I don't really remember too much, but I was the 2 years in the 90s, and then after I came back, I played, I don't know, at least 10 years. I kind of came out of retirement a couple of times, but
it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So, right, over the years, we'll say 12-year career, who's been the toughest person you've had to guard, and then who played you the toughest?
Yeah, so kind of, I mean, outside of Super League, of course, I have to say Kobe Bryant.
Well, here, let's get into that, because, you know, when Kobe passed, it was funny in a way, or surreal, I suppose. I had people texting me saying, "I'm so sorry, Jago, that Kobe passed." You know, I was like, yeah, okay. But you don't realize the magnitude of somebody's, how far they reach in life, not just through basketball, but the average Joe on the street knew who Kobe was.
Yeah, you know phenomenal, I mean? Yeah.
So tell us about your time, you know, and there's that famous picture of you. Is it you D'ing him up, or him D'ing you up?
I think he was trying to D me up.
He was trying to D you up. Yeah, that's yeah. Failed miserably though.
Yeah.
So yeah, just tell us that story, how that came about. And
yeah, it was a mad one. Like, I mean, I was oblivious not completely oblivious at the time, but it was 95, 96. So it was the year I went over to high school. We had a really good team. I kind of slotted in as the fifth member of a starting unit, and we had a guy called Ken Lacey on our team who actually played on the Irish national team because his mother was from Cork. But anyway, we had a really good team. We made it to the state playoffs for the first time in our high school's history, and we went all the way to the quarterfinals. So this is Pennsylvania. It's big state, like, and it was the big schools, like the 4A schools. So quarterfinals anyway, and we had kind of like knocking off teams that were really highly ranked and rated and so on. And we come up against Lower Merion, and like we only had a few days between games, maybe a week, like tops. They were kind of coming along thick and fast, but like there was all this hype. Like he was a McDonald's All-American. There was rumors at that stage he was going straight to the NBA. So there was like a media frenzy. Like our game was, let's say for a high school game, it's over 4,000 people at the match. It was, and everyone was like all about Kobe, like just a media frenzy around him at that stage, So this was maybe March 96, like, and yeah, so it was unfortunate for us actually, because Ken, who was like our best player, went on to play for Ryder, was sick, had a vomiting bug all night the night before. So like he just wasn't, he played, but like was a shadow of himself. So it would have been really interesting to see how close, because like, I mean, on their side, they had Kobe and okay, some decent players, but like obviously Kobe's out of this world. But even then, like, so they beat us, and they beat us reasonably well without totally blowing us out. Like we were never really in the game, but like, I mean, I was our defensive stopper. So like before the game, it was like, even though he was 6'6" and I'm 6'1", like he's like, Emmett, you're going to guard Kobe, because he was a guard theoretically. And the plan was for me to just kind of keep him in front and make him shoot over me. Like, so first play of the game anyway, he gets the ball, I'm right in his face, 3-pointer, swishes it right in my face. Like, so that was kind of the tone set early on. I will say I went straight back down the other end of the court, and I'm not a prolific 3-point shooter, and I think I only scored maybe 3 that year because I was more of a slasher. But anyway, I nailed a 3-pointer back down, and he was guarding me, but he was standing in the middle of the key. So I banked a 3 in, so we were 3-all, toe to toe with Kobe in the first 30 seconds.
What a great stuff! Look, nobody can take that away from you, Emmett. You know what I mean? And that's a story for the kids and the grandkids and the great grandkids, and long may it be told. You know what I mean? And it just shows the level that you were at back then to make it to the state quarterfinal. And
yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was brilliant. I did get dunked on in the process, and it was, but I actually, it was probably my best game of the season as well. Like I played reasonably well that game, and I was reasonably happy with the performance. But yeah, look, it was a pleasure to have that experience, and I just say that it's in the bank. I'll always have it.
Absolutely, and look, if things were different, you could have gone to the Lakers, and Kobe could have suited up for Vincents. But sure, hey, look, I think you made the better decision.
Yeah, absolutely. He like a few months later, he was in the Lakers, all right, and yeah, I was back trying to make the Super League team. Yeah.
Yeah, you win for me. Yeah, it's just so let's go back to the Super League. So other than Kobe, who was the toughest player to play against?
Yeah, I mean, I always guarded Americans when I came back from the States. Like for some reason, every team in the league seemed to have a point guard American. So they were all like really top players, but I actually can't think of many off the top of my head. But I always had tough battles. But I actually found my toughest jobs were against people that I had a size mismatch with. And I'll go back to before I went, like those 2 years in between high school and college. Do you remember Stephen McCarthy? So Stodzer, you probably remember him well. So
yeah.
I'm gonna say him because he really good player, could hit the jump shot. He was taller than me physically. He could, like, he played with his back to the basket quite well. Just a tough matchup for me. So yeah, so he's one I think. One time Joey told me to Mark Lee McHale, absolute nightmare, just destroyed me, like size mismatch there, but you know, excellent player as well, unbelievable. And Jaron Noonan, I'd say version 2. So Jared kind of had 2 careers, you know, one where he was skinny, athletic, flying up and down the court, and then put on a bit of size, but still, like, I actually think the second version was probably better. Just unreal coming in from the baseline, playing with his back to the basket, and I found that tough. Like, I could, if I was face to face, I thought I could, you know, D people up, but if someone was good with their back to the basket, I found that tough. So those are kind of ones that come to mind, but Stads are number 1. Yeah,
Stads was a super player, absolutely super. And who was the person you hated, like, guarding you? Was there anybody that stood out?
Yeah, again, kind of mostly when there was a size mismatch and mostly smaller people. So I played with Mark Keenan actually for a couple of years. He was a pain. And then later when we were playing in summer leagues and so on, Puff Summers as well, like, didn't actually play against Puff too much, but he was small and quick and tough matchup for me. And then I go back to Owen Darling, Pete Madsen as well. We had some battles, but Owen Darling in training, if I wanted to challenge myself and Owen just battled in Super League. So I'm going with Owen Darling.
Excellent. Excellent. You'd be happy with that one, I'd say. Yeah, again, like I said, I had an opinion in my head walking into that gym on the first day, and within 5 minutes, I thought it was gone. It was dispelled straight away. He's just such a solid guy, such a solid guy. Right, so you and 4 others going to a pickup game. Who are you taking with you?
Yeah, I know Dave went with all 3 of us, and it was kind of the easy out, but I'm going to go with Carl at the 2, and it'd be James or Carl at the 2. So Carl gets the nod over James.
Okay.
Dave at the 3. I'm obviously the 1. So Jermaine, 4, and then I'm going with Pat Burke, number 5. Can I pick Pat Burke? So play with Pat on the Irish team.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's solid 5. We'll give you that. I don't know who you're going to be playing against yet. So Michelle Fahey's episode's out, Hannah Thornton's episode 2. So the winner of that game will play your 5.
Okay.
So make sure you have everybody on Instagram voting for you.
It's tough to play against those female teams.
The women's teams, like, they just go on runs. Like, Scally was in for about 6 months, it felt like.
Yeah. Couldn't knock her off.
No. Look, another solid player. So superstitions, Emmett, I can't remember. I was trying to think back, because I love when I'm interviewing somebody who I've played with. And I was trying to think back to our weekend away in London, which was interesting for so many reasons other than basketball. But I couldn't remember whether you had any superstitions or not. Do you? Yeah,
not really. Like, I mean, I definitely had routines, and like my game day routine was pretty set. You know, eating certain amount of time beforehand, what I'd eat would be reasonably consistent. Like, well, it might vary from season to season, but then just listen to music, having a shower, you know, getting the gear on. If it was a home game, I'd get ready at home and just throw the tracksuit on and then over to the gym. So yeah, just different things like that kind of prepared me for the game, but nothing superstitious wise.
Wasn't left shoe first or right shoe first or
no.
Praise, like, that's good. That's good to know.
And I was and still am freaked out by Jermaine's stinky socks.
I think everybody is. It's just that was one of the bizarrest answers actually we've gotten.
Yeah, totally.
No. Just wash your socks.
Yeah.
So if you could pick one shoe manufacturer and one shoe for the rest of your life, the Emmett Donnelly personal editions, what would you pick?
It wasn't something that was really in the forefront of my mind, mostly because my parents had 4 kids playing basketball and like no one was getting the top shoes. So they were kind of more a distant aspirational kind of thing for me. But the Nike Air Jordan 5s kind of stick out for me as an amazing shoe that other people had that I would have loved to have had, and even now would cost way too much money to justify
shiny
spending.
tongue, was that them ones, the black ones with the shiny
Yeah, black the silver tongue. Yeah, and even the white version was nice. But yeah, that was just an iconic shoe at a period of time when I was kind of coming of age, you know.
Yeah, they were a nice shoe.
Mm.
They'd be like nice in the blue and yellow of Vincents, you know what I mean? Just should treat yourself. Your next big birthday, just go and buy a pair. You know what I mean? In a box and just stick in the wardrobe forever, never to be worn.
Yeah, well, if I got them, I'd be wearing them all the time, man.
Sleeping in them and everything. Yeah, finally got the shoes.
I'd have to come out of retirement again just to show them off.
We'd love to have you back. Top 5 musical artists of all time.
Yeah, this is like, it's not my thing. Like, I love music, but I'm not so cultured. But here's the 5 that I like.
Let's go.
So U2, Snow Patrol, Rihanna, which is probably the controversial one, but I love Rihanna. So I've seen all these in concert. Red Hot Chili Peppers and Oasis.
That's a solid 5, Emmet. I'll give you
that. Yeah, great, all great gigs, by the way. Really good.
I've been lucky enough to see U2, I'm going to say 4 or 5 times at this stage. From 1989 was the first time I got to see them. So that was the Love Town tour. They played New Year's Eve in the Point. I was 13. And it was amazing. They're amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
Snow Patrol, I've never seen live. Would love to.
Yeah.
Rihanna, I need to talk to you about this.
Well, I was the only. Well, I'd say there was a few other dudes there. At the time, I might have been early 30s, so I wasn't completely. I was a bit out of place, all right, but it was mostly.
Please tell me it was Lorraine's fault and you didn't pick the tickets, or you know.
It was pre-Lorraine, yeah, no.
Oh no, Emmett Donnelly, Rihanna, jeez.
Love Rihanna, can't beat her.
Look, if she called and invited you for a drink, I'd probably say yeah, no problem. I don't know whether I'd stand for an hour and a half watching her sing.
She nearly made the 5 dinner guests.
Brilliant. I love it. Oh, look, we have to get on to that. So you're the DJ. What 3 songs are we warming up to?
Yeah, well, in order. So The Saints Are Coming by Green Day and U2, because we're the Saints. So yeah. Jump Around, House of Pain.
Absolutely.
And Gonna Fly Now, so the Rocky theme tune, number 3.
Nice. So they'll be added to the playlist. Big shout out to Marion, UCD Marion, who used the Shot Clock podcast playlist for the warm-ups last week.
Oh, really?
Fantastic. It was absolutely brilliant.
Well, I hope they play The Saints Are Coming. That'll be good.
Yeah, I probably not. Man, that was a tough game, let me tell you.
Yeah, just that one was closer though.
We were down 35 at one point.
Oh, Jamie.
And Gar gave quite possibly one of the best halftime speeches I have ever heard in my career, where I took a step back and looked around the room because I just needed to see where people buying in.
Yeah.
Like everybody, you could just see the focus.
Wow.
It was absolutely fantastic. And look, we came.
It must have been some second half.
We were fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic. Brilliant. Julius, our American, had a really good second half.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, our point guard, played really well. James Harden had a really good game. Owen played well. Donald Monaghan played. Everyone just woke up.
Yeah.
But we'd a really slow start. We were 17-0 down after 3.5 minutes, and we just.
Oh God. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just. I think it's that green floor in that gym. It just sucks the life out of you.
Oh, yeah, I always found that a tough place to go. The lighting as well seems weird.
But we couldn't get going. No,
it's a really tight court.
Week, the warm up, we were buzzed, we were excited, we were, there was that level of energy. Whereas we got to the UCD and it just
that's And maybe it was a factor, but it's a really tight court, so it takes an adjustment, and you can end up turning the ball over a lot if you're wayward passes, because like there's very little space.
Yeah, it's a strange one, but it's like a pit. I don't know. It was weird. It was like just a real weird energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gareth Speed was
brilliant.
It was Jurgen Klopp-esque. That's all I'm going to say.
Awesome.
So
did the job anyway.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, look, 10 points. Hopefully, we get Aina this weekend and we turn them over. So that's the big one, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like you're progressing.
But that's it. Once we progress every week, it's a win. You know, that's the only way of looking at it. So, 16-year-old Emmett sitting in front of you. What advice are you going to give him?
Yeah, so I've become quite philosophical in my old age, but number one, put first things first. So this is habit 3 from the 7 habits of highly effective people. So it's really, the hard part is figuring out what is the first thing, like what are the most important things, but then constantly try to reprioritize those. So I would say, I've been always actually, most people who know me well would know I've been a reasonably disciplined person. But sometimes I got away from the level of discipline that I would have wanted to have, to focus on what I wanted to go after. Now there was various reasons for that, but I'm much happier myself when I'm focused and really living according to the things that I want to do and achieve and go after. And that sometimes I just fell away from that, not dramatically so. People probably look crossways at me thinking that, but probably that period between kind of being 18, 19 and kind of 24, coming back from college, like after that, I was really focused. But that period, I think I missed a beat, along the way. So that's number one. Number two, practice mindfulness and meditation. So I want to start that now. But it's something that evens me out and would be, I think, have a positive impact on all other aspects of my life. So if I could start that at 16, I'd be delighted with myself now. So that would be me being kind to 43-year-old me, and start investing in index funds. So I wouldn't be working now,
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Mr. Amazon.
Yeah, totally.
Just back to that mindfulness. Do you practice mindfulness now and meditation?
It's something I try to. So as I was saying to you earlier, when I got in that zone earlier this year, and I go through bouts where I do it and then I come away from it. What works for me now is kind of 5 minutes of breathing, breath work, eyes closed, and you could probably call that, certainly it's mindfulness, but that always helps me when I do it. And it's something that I try to do, 5-6 mornings a week. I've gotten away from it second half of this year, but I was kind of crushing it earlier this year. But yeah, so it's something I want to do. And
may I recommend our good basketball friend, Mr. Neil Murphy, or Neil O'Murku, as he is now, the Breed with Neil podcast. Murph is a Wim Hof instructor.
Okay.
So I've been to a couple of retreats with him, and I've been out with him, and he works with me kind of, from time. My free throw shooting was absolutely horrible when I was playing. I spoke to Murph on this when I was coming back playing, and now I shoot a much higher percentage, but it's all down to my breath work. It's all down to slowing myself down, slowing my body down, getting my breath under control, and then shooting. So for anybody, but look, from Murph's basketball background, the whole lot, if you get on and look him up, he's got a YouTube channel, his podcast is out there. Breed with Neil, Niall.
Okay.
And yeah, he does 5-minute sessions and 10-minute sessions on the YouTube channel where he'll guided breathing. But I try at least that 5-6 days a week that I sit in silence and just get back in touch with my breath. So give him a look up.
Yeah, definitely. There's a disciplined dude, by the way.
Oh my God. But like, you know, he went from being ace basketball player to training with the Shaolin in London
Yeah,
to
that's
now
just,
being a level 3 Wim Hof instructor, which is the highest level you can be.
yeah,
You know, and he goes back to Poland and he works with Wim Hof, you know, quite regularly.
yeah.
But like, yeah, Murph is just, he's different level.
Yeah, but that like those kind of characters I've always admired, you know, and definitely they're kind of a shining light to kind of aspire to be. I don't think I'll ever get to that level, but certainly to be around that is definitely an experience.
Yeah, just even meeting him for coffee, or well, it wasn't a coffee, it was an organic tea I met him for, but like you come away feeling like a better person.
Yeah.
He's unreal. So look, second last question, Emma, and look, thanks again for coming on. I know this isn't your gig at all. You're not the most, you know, outspoken and you know, public person. You're quite a private guy, so the fact you agreed to do this means an awful lot to me. One of my favorite teammates, I have to say, of all time. I know we only got to play 3 times together, but I enjoyed every minute being on the court with you and being around you as well. With some interesting nights over in London. Joey
Yeah,
was, you know, we actually
that
back to Joey, God love him.
that's a good example though, Jago, and thanks very much for saying those things. The that Irish trip though, like that's a really good example, because like on one hand, you know, so we went out the night before playing games. I mean, that's what we did. Um, the night before playing England, and I actually I actually remember at least started the game well. I might have faded after about 2 minutes, but like you might get away with that once or twice, but I would be much happier thinking back, like, and you know, I remember that night vaguely, but I would be much happier thinking back to that, you know, if we had you know, got to bed early and focused on the basketball. Like I know for me anyway, and people are all different, like some people are too serious, and I don't mind being serious. You know, I can have fun as well, but I would have preferred giving that tournament a much better shot
Yeah, me too.
than,
It's a
you
regret.
know, yeah, like
It's a regret. I think if, you know, we got put together as a team 2 weeks beforehand, it was last minute. It was, you know,
yeah,
thrown together one training session and then we flew out. And like
yeah,
we weren't focused.
yeah, yeah,
Nothing was expected of us. So I don't think we bought into the culture. And it was probably
yeah.
the first and only time with an Irish team that I didn't buy in.
Yeah, well, I mean, the setup and the tournament and everything, it wasn't like a normal, like, so I don't want, if anyone is listening or watching this, it wasn't like a normal international tournament per se, but at the same time, we didn't give it our best shot, and that's this, you know, that's disappointing to think back on. But look, it is what it is. Either, like, I mean, it's not that I beat myself up over that, but I would love to. That's the type of thing I'm talking about in terms of, you know, putting first things first. Yeah,
absolutely. Our first priority that night was drinking as many shots behind the bar, which is never a good idea before an international game.
no,
But hey, we were young and ridiculous back then.
yeah.
So, dead or alive, 5 dinner guests you'd invite to your house, and we know Rihanna has missed the cut.
Just about. So people might know these guys, but so Dr. Rangan Chatterjee is one of them. So he's has the Feel Better, Live More podcast. He's a doctor in the UK, but he's takes a very broad look at health and wellness. So excellent podcast. I'd recommend it to anybody. He's got a few books out. Really has really interesting guests. But I just, as a kind of health and wellness kind of go-to, he's my guy. Stephen Covey, who I mentioned, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So he's the guy who wrote that. He's the only one who is still not alive. But that's kind of personal development, really good principles to kind of guide and live by. Elon Musk, just fucking mad vision of the future and what's going to happen, and like, how do you build, you know, that many startups and inspire traveling to Mars and all of that, like, just insane mind. Jordan Peterson, so he's a psychologist. I don't know if you've come across him, but he has podcasts and videos, a couple of books. So he has the 12 rules for life, and then 12 more rules for life. A couple of books, very interesting.
Another book, yeah.
And Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool manager, but like the job he's done at Liverpool is just phenomenal. Like how he can galvanize, an entire football club, the crowds, have players playing to like an insane level for such a consistent, even though it's a reasonably expensively put together team, it's nowhere near the level of kind of Man United, Man City.
No.
And kind of just the way he innovates all the time, like because he started out as counter-attacking coach, has evolved the team and seems to, evolve his thinking over the years and doesn't get stale, really just incredible sporting mind. So he'd be a bit of crack as well. So
yeah,
my 5.
He'd be great crack.
Yeah.
He'd be great crack. So here's the question: are you cooking or are we ordering in?
Yeah, so my mom's chicken curry is the number one dinner. So either she would have to make it and drop it over. She lives across the road now, or she'd have to give me the recipe and I'd cook. But definitely that dinner.
Interesting. I like it. Mommy's cooking's always best.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I still love going to my mom's for dinner. There's just something nice to get about handed a home cooked meal.
Yeah, definitely.
So look. Again, thank you. Really appreciate your time. Last question. Who would you like to see on the podcast?
Have you had you haven't had Joey Boylan, have you?
No, but like I'm getting serious grief off Joey, to be honest with you, because I kind of half jokingly said it to him, going, "Oh, when are you coming on?" He's like, "I've been waiting for your phone call." And I went, "Oh." I was like, "Oh." So yeah, I will get Joey.
Like you talk about legends of Irish basketball, doesn't get much bigger than that. But Joey has just an incredible encyclopedic mind. Can remember everything. Holds some record that he'd invented for himself for playing Super League across 4 different decades or something like that. But just look, he's an incredible guy, and in terms of Irish basketball, there's no one more knowledgeable. So he'd be good to.
Looking up last week and even the other night against UCD, and there he is sitting in the front row taking stats just like he always did. You know what I mean? Like nothing.
Yeah. I see you're modeling your beard on his.
That's it. I'm actually going for the Joey look. It's the only way I can be accepted at Vincents.
Yeah. I'd say.
I'm due my yearly shave as well, just like Joey has. I'll probably get it before Christmas.
Yeah, cool.
Right, Emma. Look, thanks a million. Really enjoyed that episode, and like I said, Carl, we're gonna have to tie the Carl down for him, and we'll finish up with James then.
Yeah, awesome.
So look,
Jago, fair play to you, by the way. Really good job kind of getting out there and doing something like this. So well done. Congratulations.
Appreciate that. And look,
good luck with Super League, man. You're
a
lunatic.
Look, you only get these opportunities once in a lifetime. So I get to finish this season on my terms, hopefully,
Cool. Well, best of luck with it.
Fingers crossed. If I make it to the end. Look, Emmet, cheers. Thanks for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. All the best.
Cheers, man. Take it easy.